Hi everyone, and welcome to your online math class. This video is for a few different classes, so it's a little bit generic, but they all kind of have the same pattern. For some of the classes, you'll notice I talk about a 3-day late window, some are 2-day late. So just keep that in mind. You need to read through your materials in your specific course. But the layout is you'll have a home page and you'll have the announcements that you want to check out from me, Yvonne Fish, your instructor. You can go back to get to that home page, or you could click over here. Then most of you will all end up having a homepage outline, even if you don't have that yet. You might just have a welcome page for starters. And this has your course outline, your scope and sequence for the entire course. You'll see this repeated in every module. This one has links on it so you can get to what you need for the week. So here's your week. We want to go to course materials and resources. Sometimes I recommend you just right click so you can have different things open. And you would go through and you can click on these things and check it all out, all your materials that you need. Depending on your course, you might have a little bit different title. And then if you wanted to go to this one, it'll pop you right to that module. We want to focus on the Getting Started module here. This module, you do have to work in sequence all the way through in order to get to the contents. It is locked until the Getting Started is completed. And you would just start and perform the tasks. You can see the tasks ahead of time on the module if you wanted to know ahead. Like some you just have to view, some you have to mark as done, which will be either in the upper right or lower right of the page, depending on your type of computer. A lot of these you just have to view. Some you have to submit something or contribute to a discussion. Okay, and here's some helpful materials and your syllabus again, just in case you need that. So I usually like to end the module with something that you don't need to view, because then people forget about that last little thing and get blocked. So here we would just start the module and go through clicking next. After you read it, of course. Here's your weekly outline. So if things aren't published yet, you can see the scope and sequence of the course. This is also in your syllabus. But the dates will be published. I usually, after the first couple of weeks, put the whole course out there, and you can work ahead if you want. Just remember to go back and do replies for discussion boards if they're required. Some courses are more activity-based and discussion-based than test-based. So here's just the info and setup. Basically, all the courses I do have lessons that are videos. You might have to submit notes or answer questions. You have practice problems along the way some courses, like for CMath 107, you're going to be doing those along with the examples. So you just turn everything in at once. Because sometimes you might just do the examples instead of watching my video. You're just going to do them and just submit whatever. It just depends on if it's new to you or review. So I feel a lot of this stuff in CMath 107 is review. For some of the courses like Math 92, Math 146, you're going to be watching a video and then just answering some questions and get automatically checked off for that. And then your practice problems will come after. And usually due dates things are due a few times a week. And that's laid out in your module and be explained. And then you would have either 3 or 2 days grace period to turn things in. Electronic homework, you can use multiple passes to extend that. So if you wanted to go out more like a week, you could do that. But other things like even electronic quizzes and things like that, they'll close after the grace period, and that's clearly marked for you. You'll see it ahead of time. So this page has a task to do, so I have to hit mark as done. Again, it might be in your upper right corner depending on what kind of screen you're using. And then click next to move on. So if you're blocked and you can't move on, keep checking to see if you did the task. That's a little bit about me. I'm usually available. Let's go back here. Throughout the day online. And if you need to Zoom, we can do that. Just email for an appointment. Some classes I do run optional Zoom help sessions. If I have enough people that want that for a particular class, I will certainly pick a day. We can pick a day together to run a group session. A lot of times it's very individualized though, so you just have some specific questions. So it works well to just make an appointment. And if you request something like online like that and email me, look for a reply pretty soon after, so we don't have to do like you check the next day and see that I replied. Like try to chat back and forth if possible. Here's the late policy for, this is for C Math 107, which has 3 days late. Math 92 has 3 days late. Math 141 has 3 days late. Math 146 has 2 days late, just because that's how the course was set up for that curriculum. Here's the electronic homework, and every class has some kind of orientation to that. Here you see it says redeem late pass, but you're not past the due date yet, so don't click on that. You don't need to use one. Everybody should have, depending on the course, I think most of them have 20 late passes to start. 146 has like 50 just because they have more electronic stuff. And you would just go ahead and click start and complete the assignment. Now for these, I usually have you do mark as done rather than submit, just so you're more in control of like getting your check mark. But if you want to mark it as done and not be done, that's fine. If you click here, this done doesn't mark as done up here, just so you know. And you can resume even if I click done there, and or on the My Open Math, you can actually still access it. And when it's past due, it'll say redeem late pass or do practice mode. Don't pick practice mode because unless you're finished and you just want to play around with it and get more practice, you would want to redeem a late pass. I'll show you what that looks like just so you can see. And it will extend your deadline for, in most of the classes it's 3 days. In stats it's 2 days. That's why you get more late passes in stats. And then your score will update. And I'm going to click next. Desmos is free software available to everybody. Sometimes we're using GeoGebra as well, and I'll model those in the lessons. And here's your getting started homework. Not every course has this. Math 107, you should be doing this. And this one, the task is to submit. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I submit that. I'm actually going to go out of this again. Go back to modules so I can show you, like, if you are done with something, you can just collapse it. You can also hit collapse all. But like say I had to leave and I come back and I see, oh, now I know exactly where I left off. And it's just this first getting started module that you have to work in sequence in order to access future content. Just want to make sure you have everything. I'm not going to open the discussion because I don't want different people seeing people's posts if they're not in the same class, but you would have to contribute to the page and then move on, and you would access these other things. Once you do that, you'll be able to get into this first module, and they're all kind of set up the same. There's some kind of lessons and classwork, activity or discussion, and a quiz. For Math 92 and Math 146, you have the lessons and classwork are actually kind of two separate things. Each thing has electronic homework, so that should be labeled here too, homework. Most of the classes culminate in a quiz for the end of the week, which is due Mondays. So just read through your specific quiz or content for your course. And the dates you can see are here. Okay, so that's going to vary. And you can, kind of play around with over here and looking at different things if you want, but what is disabled for you is like pages and files for now, because just we don't want random stuff opening that you don't need, and it's all contained in your module, all the stuff you need. So I'm going to pause for a moment here and get up to the next module just so you can see what an assignment looks like. So now you can see I've gone through everything on the Getting Started module, got my check mark, and I go down to here, module 1, and see it says I haven't completed it yet. But this one you don't have to go through in sequence. It's not set up that way. Every module, I try to remember to start it with the course outline, just so you remember that scope and sequence and you see it repetitively. And then each week has what to expect, or maybe a to-do list or the objectives. And everything has some kind of lesson, videos they present in different ways. Some are within the My Open Math and they're automated. Other ones are just, you're going to submit notes to show that you did it. So here's the video lessons, and the reading is here. Some have the reading separate, but the rhythm is the same throughout the term. Here is the electronic homework. Again, you can go in and out of this, and I don't even need to start this to move on. I can, because I don't have this one set up as in sequence. So you can kind of skip around at this point, but watch your due dates and make sure you're, I'm going to close this. I don't need this anymore. And you can see where I didn't mark it as done, so I know I have to go back and do that. It's up to you to mark it as done just by completing it and submitting it for the electronic homework. Doesn't, so you have to mark as done. For the lessons, you have to submit. But again, you could kind of skip around. I don't recommend that really, because you need the lessons to complete the homework, to complete the activity and the quiz and so on and so forth. But you could skip around if you wanted to, especially with the electronic homework. If you didn't finish, if you were tight on time, you could kind of maybe do every other one, because there's repeats of the same problem type. So that way, you have those, you can do open-ended for several days, where everything else is going to close out after the grace period's done. So moving on, you'll just see I just kind of time locked these for now just to make sure they're all updated and everything. But again, I'll release more stuff. Sometimes I just put coming soon, but most of this course is done. The other ones aren't, but additional content will be coming. Here's some extra credit opportunities for you as well. And here's remote learning support if you need that. So there's lots of things if you're running into issues with like your Chromebook, or you have want to scan something, or maybe you need counseling or tutoring and things like that. The Zoom is weird, or Canvas is weird. Like, there's all sorts of resources for you there. And then you can go back to your homepage if you wanted to. Every time it'll open up to this, and you can see and you can click, like it'll take you right to that module for the week, so that it's not just opening a modules page and that you don't know where it is. This is a big long thing. So I hope that helps get you started. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'm happy to give more details on specific kinds of assignments and things. But I think once you get through the getting started in the first week, they're all pretty much run similarly. Have a great day.